Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we're so happy to have you. If you're my previous subscribers, welcome back. So, for today's channel, we have an interview, a very special interview with the 2028 independent candidate, James Adel. And we also have TNN reporter Owen Haley, who will be helping us along this journey. Now, he is the first 2028 presidential contender of this election season. He is the only one willing to meet at the interview besides Rainbow Dash. We are yet to hear from Louis Amaya on whether or not he planned to do an interview, but nonetheless, you will be able to understand more about James Adele tonight. Anything else you would like to say, Owen?
I don't think not.
Okay, and James Adele, would you like to make your introduction?
Thank you, Chris. I'm running off a platform of knowledge, wisdom, and sanity.
Thank
That's
you
how
for
I
that.
can best describe this campaign. I am not running in protest. I'm not running to get attention. I'm running because I believe I can make America better than what it currently is.
Thank you for that. And so, our next question to you, James Adele. You are the only independent candidate in this election. Why should people pick you instead of the Democratic candidate, Rainbow Dash, or Louis Amaya for the Republicans? Why independent?
Thank you, Chris. I think, well, I'm going to state a fact right now. I am the better of both candidates at this point because right now we have too much party fatigue, and right now both parties are in shambles and cannot stay united. That is why I am running independent, and that is why every eligible American should vote for me.
Thank you. Owen, do you have anything you'd like to ask?
Uh, I think I have no questions to be asked at the
Okay,
moment.
moving on. What are some of your political positions? What are some policy stances, your political positions on certain issues, even controversial one that voters should know about when it comes to voting for you or voting for Rainbow Dash or Louis Maya? What are your positions, and maybe you might be able to convince some of them?
I'm running on a moderate platform. I'm running to ban abortion with exceptions. I'm running to make everything that says made in China to instead have made in America or made in the USA because this is where opportunity grows, and we cannot have that same opportunity if we get everything imported from China or other enemy nations. Second off, well, third, I'm running to end the war in the Middle East. I will not fund Israel or Palestine. I will not recognize Israel or Palestine. And that's a very controversial opinion, but that's the right opinion in my belief system. And they don't deserve our funding for a war that was inevitable, for a war that was inevitable, but also could have been prevented at the same time, if you understand what I mean. Right now, we have too much religion in schools as well. And I believe that religion does not belong in schools. Religion does not belong in government. While yes, most of our laws come from religion, it shouldn't be purely religion. Well, I don't even know what position I'm on right now, but we also need to secure the border. And securing the border does not mean just building a wall and throwing a couple security cameras. Securing the border means digging that wall down. It means putting it all the way down. That way nobody can dig under it. It means hiring more border patrol. It means collaborating with Mexico to have our FBI agents and military go in and stop the cartels, the dangerous cartels that are coming over into America. But now I'm going over to my more leftist stances, if you will, my more left leaning stances. I believe in affordable education and affordable college. I believe every American should have the right to go to community college, and I believe every American should have the right to earn a livable wage. And that's about it for now.
So let's start with the top question now. You ran an unsuccessful campaign in 2024 as Joseph Quincy on the Republican Party ticket. What is different now as you're running as James Adel in 2028?
Thank you for that question, Chris. James Quinstein, or I'm sorry, Joseph Quinstein, was meant as a joke because I originally started off with my original beliefs, and then I saw the Republican Party and I decided, hey, that right there would be very fun to join. So I did that. And that was not the right thing to do because I ended up losing horribly. But now, as James Adele, I'm showing my true beliefs and policies that I have in real life. And I'm not running as a joke this time. This time, I'm running because I actually want to do stuff.
And what stuff would that be? Like, what is something that you have planned that you would like to do? Just give us some key pointers here.
Again, thank you for that question because I believe this will help make things clearer to the voters and to everyday Americans who cannot vote. But what I would do is, again, I would stop all funding to foreign wars that we should not be a part of. I will stop funding to Palestine and Israel. I will collaborate with Mexico to send our troops over there to end the drug cartels, the trafficking cartels, and those really bad people. Okay? Next, I would make sure to put China in their place, Russia in their place, and North Korea in their place. Because right now they have too much of an influence over the American people and over American products. The next thing I would do is not allow religion to be put into schools. Religion does not belong in schools, no matter if it's Christianity, Islam, or whatever else you want to say. That should not be there. Our future generations should be taught morals, yes. They should be taught values, but they should also be taught important topics other than religion. Religion should be a thing for home. Next off, I would make it a requirement that schools must teach comprehensive sex education in order to receive federal funding. Now, the reason for that is because research shows that school districts with comprehensive sex education have a lower teen pregnancy rate, and that is very important in today's age. Next off, I would work with real estate experts and investors to lower the price of housing and apartments and property. Next off, I would work with experts, business experts, to make it easier to manage and start a small business because America is the land of opportunity. Next, I would secure the border. I'm not just going to build a wall. I'm going to make sure that our Gulf is clear, the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to make sure that the Pacific is safe. I'm going to make sure that Cuba knows where they stand. I'm going to make sure that the drug cartels in Mexico know where they stand. And I'm going to make sure that the illegal immigrants coming into this country know where they belong. That doesn't mean I'm against immigration. Immigration is great, but that's illegal immigration. That's bad. What we need is legal migrants to come into this country because the moment you step over that border, you break the law. If you want to be an American, you have to first start by following the law because we are a country of law and order. And that's about it for now, Chris.
Wow. That's a mouthful, yet you really thought out your plans. Like, this is probably the most well thought out plan of any presidential contender in this election cycle. Um, Based on what I'm hearing, I think Owen can agree with me. You sound very presidential. Do you agree with that?
I do, in fact, agree with that, and that's probably because I'm a huge fan of watching speeches made by presidents or presidential candidates or vice presidents or vice presidential candidates. So I'm kind of just running off of that right now because I just finished watching the RNC and the 2020 and the 2016 DNC. So I'm just running off of a bunch of stuff right now.
Right. Which is really interesting. So you really take good care in wanting to become president. That really shows ambition. Now let's go into your next question here. Owen. Okay, Owen's not going to talk, so I'm go.
Can I? Okay. Insider reports show that your campaign has yet to choose a vice president nominee pick, and we only 2 weeks from the general election. Is this true?
I'm going to read it back for you just to make sure it's clear because you kind of cut out Owen. Inside reports show that your campaign has yet to choose a vice presidential nominee pick. We're only 1 to 2 weeks away from the general election. Is this true? And will you be able to get a vice presidential pick in time for the VP debate this week?
Chris, thank you for that question. Owen, thank you for that question. That is true. I'm not denying it, but that's because I'm trying to find the best pick for vice president because Americans deserve quality. Yes, they deserve quick decision making, but they will be the vice president for the next 4 years when I am elected. Not if, but when I am elected. So I feel that it's important that I sit on this and make sure I have a quality vice presidential pick for the American people.
And so you say you have certain qualification that you are looking for in a vice presidential nominee. What other qualification? You can list a few if you like.
Those qualifications are that they are involved in politics, they have at least a little bit of political experience, be it on a local, state, or national scale, and that they have a general understanding of laws and the Constitution, because it is very important that presidential and vice presidential candidates are familiar with the Constitution and the laws that form this nation.
Right. Well, thank you for that. Do you have anyone in particular in mind that you might be considering, or right now you're still unable to find the right candidate for vice president?
Not quite yet, Chris. I'm still considering. I'm still trying to find people to reach out to who would support me and who I could support and who the American people could support.
And would it be a possible scenario based on your policy stances? You seem to be more on the conservative leaning side. Would you pick someone who is independent but a little bit more on the liberal side to kind of give you take it a well balanced put it like lean, I guess, when it comes to policy to back it with a little bit more liberalism and conservative viewpoint?
Sorry, Chris, you cut out during that last part, but I believe I can understand what you said. I will pick an independent candidate or a moderate candidate from either party, but I will not assure you that they will be conservative, moderate, or I will not assure you that they will be conservative or liberal. I want to make sure that they're moderate because we need balance. We need somebody
Right.
who can work with both parties and won't be offended by what one party does.
So you're looking for more. So you're not looking for a liberal lean or a conservative leaning vice president. You're looking for somebody who is bipartisan and is able to reach across the aisle along multiple party lines, whether that may be Libertarian, Green Party, any other third party, or even the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. Is that correct, or are you looking for someone a little bit more of a moderate viewpoint?
That is correct, Chris.
Right. Thank you for that. Well, we're going to go on to the next question. According to polling data, your voters are not loyal to you, but rather feel as if your candidacy is a protest vote against the Republican and Democratic nominee. What is your response to this?
This campaign is a very serious campaign, Chris. Owen, this is a legitimate campaign. This is not a protest campaign, and I assure you it is definitely not to take away the votes from either party. This campaign is based off of wisdom and knowledge and experience. It's based off of sanity, Chris.
Owen, would you have anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I still have no questions to ask James, so
Okay,
I
moving
will say
on.
no.
Has your campaign reached out to any potential voters? According to the TNN polling firm, many voters feel as if you're extremely inactive and they are no longer considering you as a viable option. And the TNN favorability polling and rating, I found that 41% of respondents approve and 41% say that they are undecided on whether or not they approve or disapprove of you. While only 18% of those who responded believe that 18% of them disapprove of you. What is your response?
Thank you, Chris. Your dog sounds very cute, by the way. I just wanted to add. Um, my
Thank you.
opinion is Americans have the right to approve or be undecided. Americans have the right to disapprove. This is America. They have freedom of expression. They have freedom of thought. I have not yet reached out to any potential voters, and I admit that I am a bit inactive, but life has just been very, very busy for me recently. But when I am elected president, I promise that I will be active and I will stay active. And y'all will be my first priority out of everything, unless there's a major thing to happen in real life, of course, because I believe real life should come ahead of online stuff, especially online elections. That's my take on this.
And does your campaign have any motive or any sort of campaign outreach or any plan going into this election? Because nobody can win the presidential election without reaching out to potential voters. Does your campaign have any plan to do this? Because in order to win the general election, you need to be able to have a campaign ground game. Do you have anything planned, or do you just hope to wing it and hope that you win?
I will reach out to voters once I have a vice presidential pick. That's all I'm going to say at this time.
And how long are we going to wait for that? Because the general election could happen as soon as this Sunday, or it could happen as soon as next Sunday.
Thank you for bringing that up. You can expect this to happen within the next 1 or 2 days. So by the 16th or the 17th, Chris.
And do you expect that your vice presidential candidate would be able to be willing to participate in a live vice presidential debate here on TNN?
I would hope so, but then again, I'd respect their choice if they decided not to, because not everybody is comfortable with that. Excuse my dog.
Right. Well, thank you for that. 37% of respondents say that tonight's interview may determine who they will vote for in 2028. Why should they pick you? And for those who made their choice, why should they reconsider? And I know that we asked the question before, but this is your chance now to say some of your new policies that you have not yet mentioned, and also talk about more about this percentage and why they should reconsider who they're voting for currently.
Well, I'm glad that 37% of respondents are open minded and willing to decide who they vote for after hearing from, I believe, all candidates. But I feel that I could convince voters by saying that we need reliable energy. This doesn't mean we're going to go completely oil, completely coal, or completely wind. We're going to even it all out because everything has to have a balance or else it's bound to fail. I'm going to increase funding for, for NASA. That way we can greater explore space, especially with all these events going on recently. I'm going to raise the military budget because we need to keep our citizens safe and we need to secure the border. And that's why I'm going to raise it. Because with all these recent events, you can never be too safe. Next off, while we're going to stay part of NATO, if anything ever happens and Article 5 is to be enacted, we will not send tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of troops over time. We will send a couple thousand. I'm talking 2 to 5,000 because we do not need to be fighting in foreign wars. We need to be fighting the war that is going on right here in America.
Thank you for that. So we're going to move on to the next question here. At the height of your campaign, you polled at 42% in the national polls. Your national average is 18%, and in the most recent poll, you've lost support, only getting between 12 to 14% of support. What is your response to this? Because as of right now, your inactivity and people lack of connectivity with who you are because most people don't know who you are. That's why you have a high undecided vote share of those who favor you and approve of you and those who disapprove of you. As of right now, what is your opinion on this and you losing support? You recently, a few weeks ago, you were at 42%. You're only now at 12 to 14%. You're well underperforming Ross Perot, but overperforming for third parties. Do you plan to expand beyond this margin, or do you expect to completely erase any sort of potential popular vote gain that you have currently and only end up like every other third party candidate and only get between 3% of the popular vote?
Thank you, Chris. I do not want to end up the next Ross Perot. I don't want to be remembered as the guy who stood up and fought but still lost in the end. And I acknowledge my inactivity, but I assure you this, I will get inactive as soon as I get my VP pick. I will get active, my bad. I will get active as soon as I get my VP pick. I will get active when I'm elected president. And these polls show that Americans are exercising the right to express their mind.
Thank you for that, Owen. Thank you. We're going to move on and ask the next question. Owen, you're going to read it.
Who do you believe you will be up against, Rainbow Dash or VP Leonard Kim?
I feel it's not really my place to comment on that. While it's important, sure, but I feel that the American people will have to decide that. And I don't really have a say in it. I don't really have my right to express my opinion on it. It's the American people.
I just question it. My apologies. that Lennar Kim, when this being act, it was met yesterday when the interview was supposed to happen. But yeah. Anyway, I hope that you were able to respond. I had to tend to my dog, so I do apologize in advance. Okay, so next question. What party do you believe your candidacy will take more votes away from in 2028? And do you believe you may carry any electoral votes at all, if any? As of right now, according to the most recent polling data, you're expected to gain at least 0 to 3 electoral votes. If you expand beyond and be able to hold the 42% margin, you will outright win every single toss-up seat in this election, sweeping the Electoral College with 274 electoral votes. You need to at least have 42% of the popular vote, or even close to it, to be in the top two. Do you believe that you might be able to expand your popular vote margin after this interview? And if any, do you believe that your candidacy will gain any electoral votes?
It's not necessary. Excuse me. It's not necessarily which party I'll be taking away votes from. It's which party is failing the American people. I believe I can win the necessary amount of electoral votes, and even if I don't, I feel I'll still win a significant amount. But that's all I have to say about that right now, Chris.
Do you have anything you'd like to add, Owen?
I think again, James Adel is doing a good job, and I have no questions to ask him.
Yeah, I definitely say he's well performing. Uh, Neil Shamrock interview. I think that you're definitely performing the best out of any interview besides Shamrock. So you're definitely doing very good. At least I believe so. Okay. Next question. What is your administration plan to keep the economy moving and growing if you win the White House this November?
Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Chris, for that. Um, I will work with small businesses to ensure that they keep the economy moving and growing because they are the backbone of the American economy. They are the backbone of the world economy. I will make sure we have open trade, although I also want to make sure that we have products that say made in America are made in the USA. I don't want to look on the back of the product to see a sticker that always says made in China. Instead, I want to see made in America because we are the land of opportunity. And I've been saying that a lot, and I'm going to stick to that. Right now, we need to get the cartels out of here. We need to get illegal drugs out of here. We need to get illegal immigrants out of here or help them get legal. We need to make sure small businesses are booming. We need to make sure that the housing market is booming. We need to make sure that products say made in the USA while also keeping trade open and free.
And what is your administration plan to prevent China from faking that by, most companies today say that their products is made in America, but when you look in the back of their label, it says made in China in a very small fine print. What would you do to those American industries that lie to their consumer base that their product is made in America, even when it comes to organic goods?
Mhm,
With most organic vegetables and
mhm.
foods are imported from China directly. And most of the time, they don't do the same FDA protocol when it comes to having and ensuring that organic measures are being taken here in the United States. However, that FDA does not exist in China. And when it gets imported through the United States, it goes underlooked, and FDA refuses to check that out. What is your opinion on this?
Thank you, Chris. First off, false advertising is very illegal and very disgusting. Second, lying to the American people is also very disgusting. Next off, I will make sure that the FDA confirms that food products are indeed safe. I will make sure we can ban BHT and BHA as they cause cancers, and that's been confirmed through various studies. Europe has banned it, Australia has banned it, Mexico has banned it, Canada has banned it. Almost every single developed country has banned it except for America. That's one of the things I plan to ban as soon as I get into office. Second off, no, third off, my bad. We will ensure that products are made in America. Because if we see that small little fine print that says MADEINCHINA, made in China, we will issue a statement to the American public that they are being lied to. And it doesn't matter if that affects the business in a negative way. If they didn't want to be affected in a negative way, then they shouldn't false advertise and they shouldn't lie to the American people to profit off of them. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Owen, next question.
What is your opinion on Rainbow Dash Democrat and Republican nomination Luz Amaya campaign?
I believe they're nice people. We may have political disagreements, but I respect them because they're humans, they have feelings, and I hope that they respect me as well, despite us having political disagreements. America is meant to be united no matter what. It doesn't matter if we have radical politicians. We must stay united. We are the United States of America. We are not the states of America. It's important that we keep that united in there. I respect them. They're running good campaigns, but I just don't think they're fit to be the leader of the free world. Thank you.
Interesting. Okay, next question. What is your opinion on the assassination of former RNC Vice Chairman Jimmy Carter? Suspect Christina Haley has fled the nation and sought citizenship in Saudi Arabia. What is your opinion on this matter?
I extend my deepest heartfelt condolences to Vice Chairman Carter's family and friends. We had disagreements, and we we obviously had disagreements, and we got into fights at times. But he didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve to be assassinated. No matter how much I disliked him on a political scale, I still respected him as a person, and he deserves to still be here today. I am saddened by the loss, but now it's time we get even more united. And it's time that we work with Saudi Arabia to get that monster back over here to the US to be questioned and to be trialed and to be imprisoned if she is found guilty. Because even though she assassinated somebody, she still deserves a fair trial. She still deserves to have she still deserves to have her constitutional rights. Even though I think what she did is horrible, she could still be framed, and we just gotta get her back, and we gotta question her, and we gotta trial her.
Current Vice President Leonard Kim is extremely unpopular throughout the nation. What would you do if you shared the same popularity as him?
First off, um, I respect Mr. Kim. I respect the vice president, but right now he's just unpopular, and I don't exactly know why. I think he's a wonderful person. I'm kind of friends with him. We're acquaintances, but I just don't think he was fit to be the leader of America. I don't think he was fit to be the vice president. He's a wonderful man, and no offense to you, but I think that's why he's unpopular. I hope I don't reach the same unpopular level as him, but if I do, then all I have to do is accept it, and that'll show who the bigger man is. Thank
What would you do to stop the war in Palestine and Israel if you win in 2028? I know that you mentioned it earlier, but you can keep
Yeah.
it brief.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I will cut off funding to both Palestine and Israel. I will cut off military aid. I will cut off foreign aid, and we will accept refugees, but we're not going to accept them without doing a thorough background check on them. And if anything comes back, they're out of here. They're not going to come here and harm Americans. It doesn't matter what their religion, sex, or nationality or ethnicity is. If they're a bad person, they don't deserve to be in America. So we're still going to accept refugees because nobody deserves to be put in horrible conditions. I couldn't imagine if that was me and my family. If that was me and my family, I would want to come to America or a different civilized country. So I don't support Palestine or Israel, but I will cut off funding to the both of them.
48% of Americans believe that Christina Hilly is a threat to world peace. What is your response, and how do you plan to tackle this?
I don't believe she's a threat to world peace because she's not a military leader or a world leader, but she is a threat to America and our allies. Again, as I said, I will partner with Saudi Arabia to get her sent back over here to America, and we will be waiting for her arrival where we can detain her, take her in for questioning, investigate her further, and then take her to get trial. That's my plan because she does not deserve to be roaming around freely where she can hurt another person.
The Somalia pirates have been attacking U.S. warships and U.S. cargo ships. The president has struck a deal with them. However, they were recently spotted off the coast of Greece, a NATO ally. What is your administration response be if Greece was attacked and Article 5 of NATO was issued, pushing the United States into war? What is your response?
First off, we shouldn't have made a deal with them. We should have destroyed them. If they ever touch American soil or American property or American ships, be it commercial or warships, they will be dust. They will be removed from this world, this universe. They won't be here anymore if they happen to harm America. Next, if Article 5 is enacted, we're not going to support a foreign war. We're only going to send a couple thousand troops, not a couple 10,000, not a couple 100,000. We're not going to do that because what has Greece or yeah, what have they done for us? If they haven't done anything for us, then why protect them even if we're allies? If you want to get help, then they should expect to send help to us in some way or another. Thank you.
Understandable. Owen, would you have anything you'd like to add?
I think not.
Okay, next question. Incumbent President Oliva had designated Alvin and the Chipmunk as domestic terrorists due to attacks on JFK Airport, the Freedom Tower, and attempt to do the same at Times Square. What is your response to these terrorist attacks?
First off, uh, they shouldn't be designated a terrorist group. They should be designated a threat to America, which I guess you could say that's what a terrorist group is, but there's a difference. A terrorist group is a menace to the world, but they are a threat to America and the American people. Okay? If, when I am elected president, not if, but when, I will make sure they never see the light of day again. And that's very simple. I am tough on crime, obviously, and I am tough on protecting the American people, the American public. I am tough on protecting the innocent Americans. Thank
Your audio cut out. Do you mind repeating what you said at the end?
I am dedicated to protecting Americans, innocent Americans. I am obviously very tough on crime because I don't believe we should be involved in foreign wars and foreign things. I believe we should be involved in protecting America first.
What is your stance on separation of church and state? 6% when polled say by TNN say that this issue is an important one. However, I know you recently spoke about it
Mhm.
earlier, so you can keep this one brief.
This issue is a very important issue this day and age. Yes, morals and values should be taught across America, but morals and values doesn't just come from religion. Our laws have derived from religion, sure, but that doesn't mean that that's all America should be. There's much more than religion. And I'm not against religion. I myself am a Christian. I don't have a non, I'm non-denominational, so I'm very liberal with that issue. But we need a clear boundary between church and state.
President Oliva was recently injured by an anti-alien group in connection to an assassination plot to blame extraterrestrials. He has since then recovered from the attack. What is your response?
I am glad that the president has recovered. Nobody deserves to be harmed unless they're a very bad person. He didn't deserve this. Americans didn't deserve this. But uh, if when I am elected president, I will make sure that the attackers never see the light of day again. It's that simple. But we also have to make sure that the aliens don't pose a threat to the American people, because if they did, then that'd be very bad for not just America, but the world. And so I think it's good if we establish a relationship with them while also keeping them at arm's length.
If no candidate reaches 270 electoral votes because you, yourself, gained a sizable portion of it, what would you tell your supporters?
Keep on fighting. Keep on fighting. We need to win this, because if we lose this, then bad things are ahead. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you believe you will become the next president of the United States?
I wholeheartedly believe that. And I believe that I can fix the United States. You've done, the president has done a good job, but I believe we need to continue that job from a more bipartisan and moderate standpoint.
What is your opinion on President Oliva and Vice President Leonard Kim?
I think the president is doing a wonderful job. Sure, I and him have some political disagreements, but I think he's a wonderful person. Same thing with the vice president. We have political disagreements, but I also think he's a wonderful person. I don't agree with much with them, but they're people nonetheless, and they're Americans, so we gotta stay united, we gotta stay connected.
And do you have anything that you would like to do um, when it comes to the issue of abortion, especially when it comes to the separation of church and state? I know that this is a separate question than what I'm currently asking you right now, but I do want to ask you because abortion is one of the main issues here. So, what is your response
Regarding
to abortion?
regarding abortion, I believe it's wrong in most cases. I would like to ban it with exceptions. Those exceptions being incest, rape, or if the mother's life is in danger, or if the baby won't carry it. If a woman has to carry a baby for 9 months and knows that as soon as it comes out of her, it's not going to be alive, what will that do to her? Just think about that for a little while. So if we know that the baby is not going to come out alive for sure, then I think her only option would be to get an abortion if she's okay with that. I believe that abortion shouldn't be uh I believe abortion shouldn't be excuse me. Sorry. I believe abortion shouldn't be accessible after 12 weeks of pregnancy, though. It should be accessible up to that point.
And do you
Thank you.
believe in women's rights? Would you protect women's rights?
Absolutely. Women, a woman is the reason I'm here. I love my mother. I love my grandmother. I love my great grandmother. I love my how do you say it? Excuse me. I love my tias. I'm sorry. I love everyone. I love everyone as long as they're a good person, which is why I will protect women's rights. As long as they don't become radical and extremist, and as long as they don't pose a threat to democracy and America, which I'm sure they wouldn't, they're wonderful people, I will protect them. Just like how I'm protecting men's rights and women's rights, how I'm protecting LGBTQ plus rights. I'm going to protect them and I'm going to treat them the same as I would any other human.
Well, thank you for that. That was well said. Although we are on our closing argument here and closing statement, do you have anything you would like to tell the voters in terms of your closing statement?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Keep on fighting. Get out and vote on election day. I promise I'll get active once I announce my vice presidential pick. And vote for me because I'm the only choice that America really has. I'm the only sane candidate right now. And thank you, Owen, and thank you, Chris, for having me on tonight. It was a pleasure to be here. This was a very fun and exciting thing to do. And I hope we can be back here in another month or two when I'm running for reelection.
Gladly, we'll love to have you back on the channel here. We actually hope to see you during the presidential debate, so that would be exciting to see how that turns out. We hope to have you again and do another interview prior to that, especially with the October surprise coming up. Everybody knows right before the general election, there's always some sort of October surprise. So we would like to get your opinion on what that may be when the time comes. So hopefully we get to see you again soon. Thank you, James Adel, for joining us tonight. And thank you, TNN reporter Owen Haley.